And I look at Mossy, really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Bears Week 10 recap. They fall at home 19-13 to the Minnesota Vikings. The Bears got me yesterday, boys. I was looking forward to the game. I had a great day, great Monday, kicked off the week perfectly. Got everything I needed to get done, ran some errands, did a bunch of stuff. And I got home and I was like, I'm just going to watch the game, see what happens. A lot of question marks with Laser now calling the plays, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we can get a win, maybe we won't, but it won't matter because we're a very mediocre football team, and a win here or a loss here isn't going to change anything. By about 7:15, I bet the game, money line. I was fully invested and was locked and loaded, and of course, the boys let me down. Let's get straight to it. I didn't cut any clips. I didn't go get any highlights. I didn't do any of that. I don't want to hear from Nagy. I don't want to hear from any players. I don't want to hear from Eddie Jackson about people holding their head. I don't want to hear about any of that. I don't want to see any of the clips from last night. Only person that gets a salute from me is Cordero Patterson because he's a running back, a feature back now, and he's not. So, and he had a kick return for a touchdown yesterday. We get 2 turnovers on D. We get a special teams touchdown, and we're nowhere close to winning the game. I guess we were close. Anthony Miller catches. He gets a better ball over the middle on that play. We get 6, and it's 2019. But the worst game I've seen from Nick Foles in his entire life, without a doubt, being a Bear. And I'm extremely frustrated because we're in a terrible situation. We're 5-5 now. We've lost 4 straight. When we easily could have 1 win, and I would be a lot happier about the situation that we're in. But now we're 5-5. We need to fire the GM. We need to fire the coach. We could be set up to be a 1 or 2, 3 win max team at the end of the year with a very high draft pick and a new slate of GM and coach. And now we're probably going to end the season with 5 or 6, probably maybe sneaking another win, 7 wins. And now we're in the middle of the pack and in no man's land where you don't want to be. I'm going to start with you, Big Nick, the quick. How you feeling after the game? 19-13. Vikings win. We got Kirk Cousins' first W. You saw how hyped he was. All right, Nick's mic is off. But Eli, I'll move to you. I'm
ready.
Okay, you good now?
Yeah. So a couple things. Not only did you bet the game, you then called me and convinced me to break my number 1 rule. Like, of all my gambling rules, the number one is never bet on the Chicago Bears or any contest they're involved in for anything. I wouldn't bet on the fucking coin toss on a Bears game, but this guy called me super confident. I sat on it a couple minutes. It was like plus 205 when I finally took it. I was like, yeah, why not? Another thing, you said the game was close. The game was not close. It was close in score, but again, we know the story with this team. You can't tell me that while you were watching that game, you felt at any point in time when it was 19-13, when it was 13-13, when it was 13-10, whatever the situation was, that we were going to score. Like, it's not possible. I called you yesterday after the game, and I asked you the simple question, like, forget all the analysis, forget the play calling, forget all that. Very simply put, why can't we score touchdowns? That's it. Not even touchdowns, plural, touchdown. Why can't we score touchdown? There were 2 opportunities for us to score touchdowns. Twice we got in the red zone in the first half, and all we had to do was just convert one of those to a touchdown, and we would have won that game. Every single element that we talked about yesterday, every single ingredient that we talk about needs to go in to this Bears stew in order for us to get a win because our offense is so bad, was there. good defensive play, forced turnovers, excellent special teams play, touchdowns outside of offense. Offensive line held up for 15 minutes of the game, right? Enough in the first quarter for you to do something, right? It completely fell apart by the second half because at that point the Vikings were like, yo, we're just going to tee off on these guys. And I think that they were honestly sending 11 by the end of the game because why not? Foles was no threat. But you could not convert. You could not score a touchdown. You could not score one touchdown in the spots where you needed it most. You could not score touchdowns off of these short fields. You really can't do anything more for the Bears offense outside of scoring the touchdowns your damn self than what they did for them yesterday. Seriously, like you're giving short fields. You're putting in positions. The play calling wasn't terrible for 15 minutes, right? For 15 minutes, the coaching staff and the offensive line gave you an opportunity to win that game, and that was all in the first quarter. And you blew it.
Because
Nick Foles was terrible. I don't care. Don't give me numbers. Don't give me any of that. He was terrible. He overthrew at least 5 receivers yesterday, and 2 to 3 of them were touchdowns. He missed Mooney. To quote Tariq Cohen, he was butt naked in the end zone. He missed him. And then he missed Jimmy Graham with who's he decided to go to. He was locking in on receivers. He's a fucking statue. He cannot move. On that 2nd and 4, when there was daylight in front of him, he literally ran an 8.2 40 and fell down. You just have nothing, man. You have absolutely nothing. Then poor Tyler Bray has to go, God bless him, has to go in there at the end of that game. And it's just like, and he makes the fucking biggest play of the half.
Yeah, as far
as yardage goes. On his first play, we have the most productive play of the entire second half of the ball game. So there's no real way that you can look at this other than say we just can't score touchdowns. You have to score touchdowns to win in this league. I'm watching Daniel Jones score touchdowns. I'm watching Alex Smith score touchdowns. I'm watching whoever the fuck the Cowboys decide to put under center on Sunday. It could be you next week, Sean. Score touchdowns. This team cannot score touchdowns. You just cannot score touchdowns. In the press conference, all you should ask Matt Nagy is, hey, Matt, why can't you score touchdowns? If he gives you a 5-minute answer, no, Matt, we asked, why can't you score touchdowns? Touchdowns, where are they? Donde está the fucking touchdown? That's what you should ask him. That's all you need to ask. I don't want to hear anything about play calling. I don't want to hear anything about scheme. I don't want to hear anything about the game plan. Matt, why can't we score touchdowns? I just want to know what is so difficult about scoring touchdowns when they are served up on a platter to you. Because that's all you need to do last week, and that's all you need to do this week. 1 touchdown last week would have got it done. 1 touchdown this week would have got it done, and we're talking about a 7-3 ball club.
Yeah, I think before I pass it to you, Eli, I think you're dead on quick. I think, if you were worried about Foles' numbers, they back up.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
a terrible performance. He was 15 of 26, 106, and an interception. I think really quick, once they figured out that they could blitz Foles and he would be completely in not know what to do with the rock, they just sent, like you said, they just sent 11, and it was a wrap from there. Because like you said, early in the game, there was a lot of opportunities to make some plays, and he missed every single one.
Every one of them.
Eli, how you feeling?
I mean, it feels like we're talking about the same thing every single week. It doesn't matter who the play caller is. The talent on the field that Ryan Pace has put out there is just not good enough. They don't have an offensive line. Like you said, Nick, they held up for 15 minutes, but over the course of the game, they got worn down. They don't have any playmaking receivers outside of Robinson. Like, Miller gets open, but he can't catch it. There's guys running in the same place at the same time. Like, what kind of offensive system is that? And the defense just got tired at the end. Without Hicks, they just wore down in the fourth quarter. There's nothing wrong with that. They were on the field for most of the game because the offense kept going 3 and out. So it's just the same thing every single week. They seem to get worse, it seems like. They can't find a running back besides Patterson. I don't know what happened to Lamar Miller, why he is not a factor. But if he hasn't been a factor at this point, there's no chance that he will be moving forward. Meanwhile, you have other teams. Seattle found a guy named DJ Dallas. He just found him off the street, and he's running for 85 yards a game. The Bears can't do that. It just makes no sense how the talent acquisition works with this team. It's like you said, Sean, if they scored one touchdown, that's the game. The Vikings were horrible. Kirk Cousins wasn't very good. Their long snapper rolled the ball to the holder. Like, what is happening over there? And meanwhile, the Bears can't put together an offensive drive. It just drives you nuts. It was straight out of the Kyle Orton years to me. It was a very Lovie Smith, Kyle Orton.
Whoa.
Wait.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Eli,
you don't know. Never disrespect the God on the podcast.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Never disrespect. That would have never happened under Kyle Orton. We would have 100% got a W. He would have gotten us. He would have went 13 for 25, 180 yards, and he would have got a touchdown.
It just
what we saw yesterday.
It was very 2005. I'll put it that way.
I don't even know if I have a year to put on that. It's getting, to your point, it's getting worse every week. And we have watched inept offensive football our entire lives for 30 plus years. I don't know if I've ever seen anything of this level. They cannot do anything. I was talking to my dad about it yesterday, and he was like, look, yeah, we've always sucked, but at least we've always had some running back that can get us yards. Yeah. We don't even have that. We don't even have that. So I don't, it's on the players. This one is, for me, is way more on the players, way more on the talent on the field than it was on the coaching staff. Coaching staff didn't necessarily help in the second quarter, in the second half, but this one is really on the talent on the field. I hate to use this word execution because we said that's a coach's excuse, but it really came down to execution. Down to the last play where Foles could have hit Miller on that, and that would have been a touchdown, and we would have won the fucking game. They were begging for us to score a touchdown. Kirk Cousins, awful this week. Ryan Tannehill, awful last week. Drew Brees, non-existent arm. Jared Goff, bum. These are the quarterbacks that we have lost to in the last 4 weeks. We're not losing to the good quarterbacks. In 2 weeks, we got a good quarterback in his building.
I don't know what game. I don't know why you guys keep saying that Kirk had a really bad game. I didn't see that at all. I don't know what game you guys were watching, but the only turnover he had was a ball that should have been caught by Thielen. It was bumped up in the air by Mack. He was 25 of 36 for 292 and 2 touchdowns. Outside of that,
fine. It's not like he killed us, though.
He played a good game.
The Vikings were on the field for 35 minutes.
No doubt about that. But he wasn't out there.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't
folding up.
He wasn't exactly. Level.
So he wasn't Kirkin, but he was beatable. That's our point. Is he was beatable. All these quarterbacks were beatable when we played them. We didn't go up against somebody who was all world and just kicking our ass on the field, and we had no chance. Kirk Cousins was beatable. We gave him a chance to get those numbers.
Our defense, without a doubt, is no one's gonna do that to us. But dog, all we need to do is score one offensive touchdown a week, and we literally have a really good chance to win the game. And we can't. We just can't do it. I'll say this. I know it's been a discussion in previous years, and I guess for some Bears fans that are super locked, we've had this conversation before, like you guys. But Akiem Hicks is by far the most important player on the defense. It's not, and if last year him getting injured and what happened to the D wasn't proof of that, literally the first play that he was not on the field, you could tell that we were in trouble, especially on the run game. I don't think Dalvin Cook picked up more than 4 or 5 yards. I think his long run was 5 yards. And the first play Akiem Hicks went out, I think he picked up 7 or 8. And I was like, oh man, here we go. And we were talking about it in the group. It's man, with no Akiem Hicks, this game might be over already because they're going to be able to do more things on the ground than they could before.
You really notice that loss of Eddie Goldman also when Hicks is out, because they don't have that bruising space eater. Jenkins is hurt also. The defensive line is beat up, and they're still playing really well. But yeah, once Hicks went out, they were getting some yards on the ground, and that really hurt the Bears, obviously. But yeah, no, Hicks is very important. But I thought Greasy made a good point. Where is Robert Quinn? What?
Just about to say that. Yeah.
What he's supposed to be the pass rusher and run stopper that is on the opposite side of Floyd that's causing mismatches. They're going to double team Hicks. They're going to double team, Mack. Yeah, they're going to double team Mack and Hicks.
No, Leonard Floyd is somewhere else producing.
Yeah, they're going to leave Quinn one-on-one.
He had a good week.
Quinn
7 sacks.
Yeah, Quinn is just a no-show. They're putting Barkevious Mingo out there in important plays instead of him. This is just another L in the Ryan Pace standings. Where is his guy?
Somebody told me Robert Quinn and Otto Porter are best friends. That's what somebody told me that yesterday.
Probably, man. Ski Mask Incorporated. You know what I mean? Yeah,
they said they go to the bank together.
Yeah, Ski Mask Incorporated. 100%, man. That's on pace. Not signing a backup running back on pace.
We had one.
The Nick Foles situation on pace.
Yo,
listen, the offensive line, they didn't do anything. They were like, we'll change coaches. That's it.
Defensive tackles turned into right tackles.
Listen,
centers turned into guards.
All you need to know so you say we didn't have a backup running back on the roster. We had Mike Davis on the roster. We had him on the team.
Of last year.
Listen, we had him on the team. We saw him and let him go. Like, that's how we're evaluating talent. Like, he'd be by far our best back on the team.
They didn't need him.
Without question, he would be the best back on the team. Now, CP84 is running feature back. So, like, it's time to go, bro. There's the Robert Quinn is in the first year of a 5-year, $70 million deal.
Oh, really? That's what they gave him?
Yes.
No, I thought Robert Quinn was on a 1-year deal.
No,
I think it's longer than that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he signed like a 5-year deal.
Why did I think he was a 1-year contract guy? I didn't think that. You might be 100% right. If it's 5 years, $70 million.
Yeah, look that up for me.
It is 5 years, $70 million. Oh my god.
Yeah.
30 guaranteed. Yeah.
Oh, so we're in the long haul on this one. 5 years, you can't get out after 3. You can't get out before 3 on a 5-year deal.
5 years, $70 million. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man, you made me question myself. I was like, whoa.
I really thought he was a 1-year deal guy. That's absolutely insane.
Dog,
wow, you gave this guy $70 million. Unreal. You could have signed 6 offensive linemen.
Year one of a $70 million deal, and he is nowhere to be found. Makes absolutely no impact plays whatsoever. He's a 0, a dud, and
getting replaced by Mingo.
Dude, the mistakes for Pace and gang are so piled up now that it's just time to wipe it out, clean it out, bro. And that's what I was saying in the intro. Is it's a really frustrating spot to be in because there's nothing like and making a place very enticing to come when everybody's cleared out and you have like a top 3 pick, like Eric Bieniemy. Like, where else would you want to go, bro? There's no GM. We can collab on the GM. We'll go get a GM. We'll bring in Bieniemy, and you have a top 3 pick to kind of get your stuff rolling. And by the way, the defense is solid already. Like, come in here, get the offense rolling, oil it up. Go get a young quarterback. Go get an impact. No, but I'm telling you, yeah. Why wouldn't you? No, don't do that.
Eric Bieniemy come to the Bears?
Yeah, why wouldn't you come to the Bears next year?
Because Dallas is going to open if they fire Mike McCarthy, which I don't know if realistic. I don't know if Jerry Jones would hire a black coach, but if he would, are you serious? If you're him, I'd take me to the Cowboys. I have a quarterback.
First of all,
why would any wait? Why would any coach, right? Because assuming you're going to hire an offensive coach, right? Why would any coach
have to hire an offensive coach in the NFL in 2020?
So why would any coach come here? You have no offensive line, like you just said. Like what you just said, we're going to have a middle of the road draft pick, so you don't have any guarantees on a quarterback. You have to rebuild the entire offensive line. You have to literally you cannot do. You have no running backs.
You weren't listening.
Why would you want to come here?
You weren't listening to what I was saying because I was explaining how frustrating the situation is because. We're going to have a middle because in the hypothetical. In the hypothetical because we don't have because we should be 2-8, right?
Well, like we talked about last week, the team is cash strapped. Like if they re-sign Robinson next year, they put an extension on Fuller. Like there's not much room to then go out and rehaul the offensive line, find a new quarterback, find a backup running back. Like they don't have moves to make with the current roster that they have because they've invested so much in guys that are on the decline, like moving forward. Like it's just bad planning. They thought their
money guaranteed next year too.
Yeah, they thought their championship window was right now, and look what the product is on the field. This is the championship window.
Yeah, so it's true, but
this is going to be one of the most unattractive jobs on the market next year. Other than the fact that it's the Chicago Bears.
That's a big enough factor, by the way.
And maybe the Jets.
That's a big enough factor.
The Jets have extra first-round picks at least, and like the number they're going to have Trevor Lawrence.
Well, wait. In this current situation, though, and maybe I'm still misunderstanding you. You think that there's something attractive about taking the Bears job?
No, I was hypothetically saying how frustrating we're in because we should be 2-8, and we would have an opportunity to clear house.
Yeah.
And have an open GM slot, open coaching, and a top 3 pick.
But as it currently stands, this is one of the most unattractive jobs that's going to be on the market next year.
I'm never going to call the Chicago Bears head coaching job one of the most unattractive jobs on the market.
Sure. Okay. Take away the franchise, take away the market, and let's just look at what's there.
Yeah. Take away the logo and the city, and
Great. That logo and city that's produced you 1 Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. What do you mean? Let's stop. Let's stop with this Monsters of the Midway bullshit.
Listen.
Let's stop with all that. Guys want to go where they can win. They're winning Super Bowls out in Kansas fucking City. Who cares where you coach? Who cares what franchise you coach for? You want to go where there's winners. Houston is going to be available. There's a young quarterback over there. If you're a top coordinator, you're not going to be like, man, you know what? I don't want to go coach Deshaun Watson because I want to fucking put on the blue and orange. Come on, man. Get out of here with that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're a lot attractive job than 3/4 of the league.
Not if they have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, how many angles are you going to put in your direction to say it's not an attractive fucking job?
It's not an attractive job at all. What is attractive about coming in and coaching this team?
If you were going to get a job and you had, say, the Titans, the Jets, all these other teams had the same pick as the Bears, you would go to Chicago and take the pick. We're overall more attractive franchise than 3/4 of the league.
I would look because we're the Bears. That's it. That's your only reason on that right now is because we're the Chicago Bears.
What's the question? Are you saying that?
I'm trying to figure out what about the Bears job is. I'm trying to figure out what about this Bears job is going to be attractive to a top candidate in the offseason, other than it being the mystique of the Chicago Bears. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying, bro. First of all, you completely bent up what I was saying in the beginning.
I don't know what you're saying.
You're not listening. That's why. Because
I'm very clearly saying, I'm asking you, what is attractive about taking this job in the offseason? Just answer the question.
At the current stake, if we go 7-9, nothing.
That's my point. So
that's what. But we were arguing 2 different things.
Yeah, but we moved off that, and I just said, forget all the hypotheticals. It's literally what is attractive about this job when we look at the top coaching candidates going into the offseason, right? Compared to what other jobs might be open around the NFL. Assuming that we're going to replace our head coach and GM. If you were a prospective head coach or GM, what would be attractive about this job other than the fact that it's the Chicago Bears?
The pitch would be all you have to do is fix the offense to make them decent, and you can make a run at the playoffs. Because the defense is already set. If you can fix the offense just a little bit, you have a chance. Now, as we've talked about for 30 years, coaches have been coming in and trying to fix the offense, and it's never worked. So I don't know how attractive that is, but it's not like a major overhaul where like the Texans have one good player on the roster. Like the Bears at least,
and he's a quarterback,
right? But the Bears at least have some building blocks. Besides that, they just need to fix that one area. It just happens to be the most important area to fix.
Let me ask you guys this, because this is kind of where I'm starting to lean, and I'll start with you, Eli. So hopefully at the end of this year, we fire Pace, we fire Nagy, we completely clean house and re-up. Would you lean towards shipping some of these defensive pieces out to load up on draft picks to then rebuild it all together, rebuild the offense, defense, and let the coaching staff just do it all in one swoop? Or would you try to keep as much? Because like you said, we are cash strapped, and that money's not going away unless we unstrap it and move some of these guys and get rid of them, right? Would you lean on trying to keep the D intact and then just completely rebuilding the offense? Or because I don't know how you do that without draft picks, right? And how do you get draft picks? By moving some of these guys on D. What are your thoughts on that?
I just don't know what the market would be for some, like, who's going to be trading high draft picks for Akiem Hicks or Danny Trevathan or someone like that. Younger players like Roquan and Eddie Jackson, you in theory want to build around. They're still in their prime, so you're not going to get fair value for that. I think they're going to look, but to be honest, I don't see George McCaskey firing Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. I think it would be maybe Pace would be on the hot seat, but I don't think they're going to get rid of Nagy if they go 7-9. I just don't see George McCaskey doing that. They're too loyal. He has a contract. They're not going to pay 2 coaches at the same time. They already did that with Fox when that situation was untenable. They brought in Nagy. I don't see them trying that again unless things really are disastrous after the bye week in the second half of the season.
But then don't you look at your GM like, yo, bro, I can't keep paying these coaches. You got to stop picking these.
Right.
Like, that's what that's like the biggest thing.
They should be tied together, but they're not. Like,
right.
They're going to bring in then a GM who has to then fit with Nagy as a coach, which is a disaster waiting to happen. But I just don't see them firing both guys, hiring replacements, paying for all that. They really like Ryan Pace. They really like Matt Nagy. I have no clue why, but that's just the way that it is with George McCaskey and that family.
Big Nick.
You fire Ryan Pace and you bring in a new GM, he's pretty much just sitting around waiting until the moment that he can fire Matt Nagy.
Right.
That's how that always works, right? Unless they have a great first year together, the first sign of trouble, he's firing Matt Nagy because you got to blame somebody. Number one. Number two, to answer your original question as far as trading away the defensive players, I already told you a couple weeks ago, Khalil Mack. Move him. I don't understand. You're not, unless you have something crazy happen in the offseason and you're able to acquire a quarterback and some offensive linemen, he's your most valuable trade asset on the team. Akiem Hicks is like 31, 32 years old, and he's perpetually hurt now at this point. Khalil Mack's your most attractive asset. To Eli's point, you don't want to move on from Roquan Smith. You don't want to move on from Eddie Jackson. Those guys are young and they're in their prime. If you're competitive 3 to 4 years from now, those guys will still be really good, especially Roquan. Roquan is now entering that premier middle linebacker in the NFL. I think he's one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL, and he's still young, still on a rookie deal. So there's no real reason to move on from him. But yeah, I think you look at trading Khalil Mack. You have to, because you lost all those picks in acquiring Khalil Mack and acquiring Mitchell Trubisky, your young pipeline, they're all playing. You don't have some guys in the back waiting to play. You don't have some guys that you're developing. They're all on the field. You draft Jalen Johnson to play today, right? These guys are all out there. So it's not like you have a whole bunch of depth behind these guys and a whole bunch of young guys that you're ready to bring up. So yeah, you gotta replenish the cabinet. You got to get some draft picks. You got to bring young guys in there. You have to draft offensive linemen. If you don't have the money to pay offensive linemen, and we see what these left tackles are going for now, $100 million. You don't have that. You have to get draft picks, and you have to start drafting these offensive linemen, these defensive linemen for depth. And yeah, rebuild from there. And if Khalil Mack's going to get you that, if he's going to get you a couple picks, yeah, that's the philosophy that you need to have.
Yeah, I think Jalen Johnson, Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson, Roquan Smith are the ones you keep. At literally every other player on the D can move.
Yep, that's your core.
Why don't you think of that? I think we could get some value for Akiem Hicks for someone that's trying to make some shit happen in a year.
You probably could. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like a first round pick though. Like you're getting like a 4th or 5th.
But you at this point,
right? That's a solid player, but
yeah. You need to draft a plethora of offensive linemen. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You need to look at drafting a plethora of offensive linemen because none of these guys are it. None of these guys are it. Not a single one of them. I know people, James Daniels when he's healthy, Cody Whitehair, none of these guys are it. You need to draft offensive linemen and pretty much hold open competition all summer for finding your 5 best guys.
But what if there's a local kid that went to Notre Dame? Should we take him though?
Yeah, we probably will find one. Yeah,
like if
James
he looks,
McLaughlin or something like that.
Hey, if he looks like Quentin Nelson,
yeah,
fucking
bring him on.
top of the board. Yeah,
if he looks like Quentin Nelson, bring him over. Yeah, because I think no one wants
the last high offensive lineman we drafted.
I mean, Whitehair was a 2nd round pick.
Yeah. Okay.
And Nick, I think you're dead on. And no one, I know it's very hard for people to talk about that, but we try to keep it 100 here on No Catch Up. But yeah, man, I think we're not getting anything from Mac with him just being buried on this team. Just go try
really good.
Yeah, and just being good and us giving up 16, 17 points a game. Just go try to recoup some of the it's so tough because if you're the team that gets the call from Chicago, your leverage, you're just putting their feet in the fire like I'll give you a 3. Like,
come back a conditional 7th.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? So that's the real tough part where it's like, man, they're not gonna try to give you anything for it.
But that's your reality. You know what I mean? That's where you are. So at this point, you got to make the best of it because it's only going to get worse. The longer you wait, the more and more leverage those other teams get.
Yeah, no doubt. Eli, so I mean, obviously over the years we've heard tons about the McCaskies and what they will or won't do. There is absolutely no way I will turn on a Bears game next year if Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are still around. I just why would I? It's so it's just
because they know you will.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I told you this about the Bulls. I
boycotted the Bulls.
These franchises watch the fan base, watch a baseball team not win a World Series for 110 years and stay loyal. There's no pressure. They're going to have their fans regardless. It's the city of Chicago, man. We sit around and wait for this all day.
The Bears have like a 15-year waiting list for season tickets, and they built the smallest stadium in the country. Like, Soldier Field fits the fewest fans of any NFL stadium.
We can't even host the Super Bowl.
We can't host anything. It was out of date the moment that it opened, and meanwhile, people are still lining up to go see Bears games. The McCaskies, they run it like a mom and pop business because literally this is how they made their money. They're not Jerry Jones who made their money in oil and decided to buy a football team. No, the family business for the McCaskies is football, is Chicago Bears football. So they're going to treat it. They're going to look at every decision from dollars and cents and say, how does this help us as a family? They're not going to cut checks because this might help the team down the road. Ryan Pace convinced them to redo Hallis Hall and make it this modern practice facility. That cost them a lot of money. They're not then just going to wipe him out just because the team had one bad year.
That's a strong point. They're not as cash rich as a lot of these owners are. Their business is the Chicago Bears, and their money is all in the team. They're not sitting around from all these other ventures sitting on
right.
Crazy cash assets like that.
You're cash rich when the team is worth $3 billion.
Sure, but all your cash comes from taking out of the team. You don't have some other business. Like you said, you're not Jerry Jones. You're not Arthur Blank. You don't own Home Depot.
Dude, when people start defending owners and all that, I can't stand it.
I'm not defending. It's just the facts.
Well, no, it is the facts. But we need to tell them, like, yo, look, this is what it is, man. And I'm no businessman in the slightest sense, and I'll say that. So I understand what you're saying with the McCaskies. That's where they make their money, and every time they cut a check, it's coming out of their family account, essentially. It's not a play account with the team, right? But can you imagine building a perennial winner here? You want to talk about unlimited fucking money. You want to talk about unlimited money? Make the Bears really, really good all the time. It's beyond a cash cow. I don't even know how to explain how much money you'd be bringing in. So why wouldn't you want to make the team good?
They're already bringing in money. What do you mean? They're already you just said the franchise is worth a ton of money. What do
you don't think making the team good would bring in way more money?
I don't where. Yeah, playoff money, things like that.
Yeah,
sure.
What are you talking about?
But they're still they're not some poor franchise that's like, oh my God, we need to build a winner so we can start making money with the Chicago Bears. It's the Chicago Bears.
Bro,
you just talked about it.
Your whole
the allure.
Your whole argument was that they don't need to make a winner because they're making money anyway. But what I'm saying is that if they created a culture of winning consistently and being a problem consistently for decades at a time, like we've seen guys in our division do, then they'd be making real money hand over fist. But they don't want to make the investment or do what they have to do that. That's the issue.
It's what Tom Ricketts did with the Cubs, which is it costs money to make money. Like you have to invest up front in order to make the money. Jerry Reinsdorf, on the other hand, with the Bulls, he just sits there. He rests on his laurels. He knows that the team will sell tickets because they're the Chicago Bulls. People want to go see the game where MJ used to play, and that's that. He doesn't need to invest extra money for that. It sells itself. The Bears feel the same way. The product sells itself. They don't have to. Why would they go hand over fist overboard? They're paying Khalil Mack. He's one of the highest paid players in the NFL. That's an investment, but they're not going to go above and beyond because they already know that Soldier Field, once fans are allowed back in, will sell out every single game for the rest of time because there's only 53,000 seats in that place, and there's 3 million people in the Chicagoland area that want to go to Bears games.
And they charge you $100 a tailgate, and they're getting that every week too.
Yep.
They don't
even own the stadium. The park, they're like, yeah.
Park District doesn't even fix the stadium. It is a known thing. So I forget who tweeted this the other day, but someone's like, the Bears will never have a good offense because Soldier Field's field is where speed goes to die. The field is terrible. How long have we
Oh.
been talking about how bad the Park District field is? Before every game, you see coaches walking around looking at the field. It's terrible. It's hard. Remember when we had a concert 3 days before opening day a couple of years ago? Completely destroyed the field, man. They don't give a fuck. The money's there, bro. They're fine, man. But
the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Giants, the Packers, those teams build their own stadiums and they buy the real estate basically and charge money to go there. The Bears, no, we'll just take from the Park District. We'll just chill out here. Like it's a small family business that happens to be a football team. It's not a hardware store. It's not a liquor store. It's whatever. It's a construction company. Nope, it's a football team. But it's the mom and pop business, just like it's always been for 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard it over the years. Like we're not going to do shit till we change ownership, but that's never going to happen.
Never happen.
So,
NFL will never let that team leave the Hallis family. And the Hallis family will never give that up, McCaskey, whatever you want to call it. We
need a young whippersnapper. Come up. A young boy that actually loves ball. We need some people to die. And then,
or we could just score some fucking touchdowns and be 7-3. Yeah. 2 touchdowns gets it done. Two. One last week, one yesterday.
Eli's saying I can't even fathom them running Pace out and him.
You can't let Pace pick the next quarterback. His track record is
you can't let Pace do shit. He can't make any more decisions. Quarterback especially.
You can't
make any more decisions, period.
You can let him pick guys after the 3rd round. He does a good job with that.
Yeah. Well,
defensive players after the 3rd round.
Man. I don't. So just so I'm clear, Eli, you think that without question, at least one will be back, Nagy or Pace?
Yeah, I don't think they're getting rid of everybody, and unless they lose out and they end the season on like a 10-game losing streak and all that stuff. If they beat the Lions or the Jaguars or the Texans, these crap teams that they play in December, I think at least one of them will be back. That's that's not what I want. That's just what I think.
Yeah,
I think Nagy's back. Unless they go 5-11, I think Nagy's back. I don't see a situation in which they fire Matt Nagy. I think that they're going to blame somebody. It's going to be Ryan Pace because it's really hard to justify bringing. You got to look at who is it easier to justify bringing back. If they are going to bring one back, it is way easier to just point to Matt Nagy's body of work than Ryan Pace's. Ryan Pace's misses are so high profile and so big and so franchise crippling that if you want to blame somebody and you want to placate the fans at some level, it's easy to fire Ryan Pace. But Matt Nagy was a coach of the year 2 years ago. He's going to be an above 500. They could lose every game this year. He's still going to be well above 500 as a head coach. I think he comes back. I think they like Nagy.
And this is unpopular, but to Nagy's credit, they're still playing hard. Like this has been a very difficult year, as they talked about with the COVID stuff and getting people to focus. And they're in every game. Like you got to hand them. I mean, they should be winning these games, obviously, but they're at least trying. There's some teams that have quit already. So
does he get credit for the defensive effort?
I mean,
he prepares the team. I mean, he keeps them ready. Yeah.
You think he prepares the defense?
I don't think he's teaching X's and O's, but
if Jimmy Graham doesn't even know that Laser's calling plays, I wouldn't be surprised if Nagy doesn't say a word to the defense about anything. So I get what you're saying, Eli, and they are playing hard and they are trying to make things happen, but I don't know if I'm willing to give him any credit for the D playing hard because Hicks and Mack and those guys are going to make sure people are playing hard.
So you think if they beat the Jaguars and the Texans and they finish 7-9, you think they still will get rid of everybody?
I mean, I guess it's wishful thinking, but I think I know deep down, if they win every game out, they need to get rid of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can't see Ryan Pace coming back.
He has to go.
Yeah, Ryan Pace has to go.
And if we're being honest, if I'm Nagy in meetings, I'm like, look, Pace, man, hey, look, man, you see what's going on here? Like, I didn't ask for this quarterback. I didn't seriously, behind closed doors, if I'm Nagy and I'm trying to keep my job, it's like, look, let's get another GM in here to get another roster in here because if we're being honest, the guys that he gave me weren't enough for me to get going and give me another opportunity to show you what I can do. I mean, that's what I would say if I was him. I would throw Pace straight under the bus if I was trying to keep my job.
It'll be easy now because all you got to say is, hey, look, man, I gave up play calling duties. I took a step back. I let someone else call the plays, and the result was the same.
It was worse. It was worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this indirectly will help him. And like I said yesterday, if Foles, well, I guess they said that Foles isn't going to be out for a while, but if he does end up hurt or something like that, he can go back to Mitch, and he doesn't have to admit an error on that either, because like, hey, if Foles got hurt, let's go back to Mitch, which is the move at this point. Like, let's be completely honest. We said it last week, but no doubt about it. If Mitch Trubisky's healthy, he starts against the Packers. If they trot Nick Foles out there and Mitch Trubisky's the backup, I'll really start to lose. I mean, I've already lost confidence in Nagy, but I'll be completely out. There's nothing that Nick Foles has done to show that he should be the starter. You cannot point to anything.
Yeah, not to enrage Nick again as we did last week, but if Rashad Coward is still at right guard, then Mitch Trubisky has to be the quarterback, because that combination of Rashad Coward and Nick Foles is going to kill Nick Foles. It almost did yesterday.
Rashad Coward should not be doing anything. He shouldn't be doing right guard commercials, let alone playing right guard for the Chicago Bears, right tackle for the Chicago Bears, or any other position on the field. That guy is absolutely awful.
Trubisky's number one, but Rashad Coward is number two on Ryan Pace's, like, this is what you left me. Like, there are no offensive linemen, so we had to take a defensive end and try to play him right guard. Like, it's inexcusable.
Then you wonder why you can't run.
Right.
Absolutely. And when I knew we were on national TV quite a bit, I didn't know we were on national TV our next game again.
Oh, like, yeah. It's a Sunday night?
Sunday night. Like, after Thanksgiving, like, just
I can flex that out.
Yo, do something, bro. Please help us. Like,
if I'm NBC, I'm like, I want no part of this. I'm like, hey, guys, you need to go ahead and handle this.
Yo, when they did I just shook my head when they did the teddy bear thing yesterday for the Bears. They showed the mean bear. And then it's like actually the teddy bear offense, and they showed like how bad the offense has been. It's like, man, this is so embarrassing, dude. Just get us off of national TV. We literally play national TV every other week.
Brian Greasy was losing his mind last night. Look how tight their formations are. He can't tell if it's a man or a zone. What are you doing?
Greasy is a member of the Troy Aikman Club of never wanting to see the Chicago Bears ever again.
If they give Aikman the Bears again, he might he might blow a gasket. He can't. He was so mad. You thought he was watching a Cowboys game. He was so mad he couldn't take it. Aikman was ready to lace him up.
I mean, let's real quick before we get out of here. The rest of the schedule, we have the Packers Sunday night after Thanksgiving. Then we go at home against the Lions, at home against the Texans. Then we go to Minnesota. Then we play at home against the Jags, and then we have the Packers at home. We're going to win 2 of those games, unfortunately. And we're going to be 7-9, and we're going to pick 13th. And it's never fucking ending, bro. Just bury the season. I need to go back on Twitter and read all the arguments about how people were yelling and screaming at fans like us that were like, you guys are so negative. You're 5-1. What's the problem? It's like, dog, we're watching the games and this team stinks. Like, simple as that. That's right. like now we're 5-5 and people are like, oh, maybe you guys are. It's like,
you guys want to hear a good stat that Patrick Manley just tweeted out to kind of pour some more salt on the wounds?
Yeah.
Cordero Patterson has more kick return yards than the Bears have rushing yards.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Justin Jefferson had more offensive yards yesterday than we had total yards on. I mean, and by the way, he was killing Jalen Johnson yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a clinic. Dude is a stud.
Yeah.
If you, hey, listen, if there's any wide receivers available at LSU, go take an extra look at them because different type of athletes coming out of there.
In Jalen's defense, he was due. He's been getting picked on all year and has really held his own and done a good job. Well. Yeah, he's played well. But if you look at it, I think he's the most targeted corner in the NFL. They have really been picking on him, and I think he's played extremely well. So he was due, and Jefferson's such a good athlete. Yeah, he had no chance yesterday.
Yeah, he had a hard time yesterday. Yeah, and you're going to get extra targets when Kyle Fuller's on the other side too. Sure. So
and he's played well.
Yeah,
that's an encouraging pick. I like, again, Ryan Pace does well in these later rounds. You get him outside the third round, he starts doing well. But Yeah, I don't know. What a fucking joke.
Yeah, it really is.
What a joke is all you can really say about that. Well, again, forget everything else, guys. We could have ended this podcast today by saying score one fucking touchdown, and we're having a completely different conversation.
No, but the thing is, I'm glad we didn't, because we need to be. This is the conversation that needs to be had. We don't need to score a touchdown, win 21-19, and be saying how maybe we could try to sneak in. Like, the team needs to be completely stripped, rebuilt, everything. The team is trash. The coaching staff is garbage. We have a few young pieces on defense. Like, we need to be stripped. It's that's simple as that. That's what it is. So I'm glad we haven't scored any touchdowns, and I wish we didn't score any touchdowns earlier in the year. And you know what I'm saying? So we're going to win 7 games, and we're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. That's how bad of a situation we're in going into the bye. Do you think the bye does any good?
What are you gonna do?
I mean, yeah, it has to be, unless the players go out and all hang out and get COVID. But like,
it might be good for Laser.
They need to reevaluate their offense. It helped. I thought it was smart that they changed play callers before the bye, so that they at least had time to like look over what went well, not very much, what went poorly, pretty much everything. Like, they could figure that out moving forward, but it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference when you don't have any blockers.
You don't think Nagy comes out of the bye and reappears with the sheet?
No, but it was so funny to see him not without that BU sheet. He was so lost in what to do.
Did you see him go chase down? Hands. There was that errant throw that went to the sidelines, and Matt Nagy like ran over and like tried to catch it. Like, he's like so bored.
Yeah, he's just sitting there hanging out.
Such a dude. Yeah, I think the bye is going to be huge for Laser, because it's just going to give him a chance to kind of continue to build that rapport with Foles. Obviously, they already have it because he's been there all year. But as far as him being the play caller, if I'm Foles, I'm going to Laser and I'm like, yo, the hurry up is what we need to do, right? If Matt Nagy wasn't receptive to that conversation, hopefully Bill Laser will be. But to me, it's a moot point, because Mitch Trubisky is going to be your starting quarterback against the Packers. I can't see a situation in which you go back to Foles when you rewatch that film and you see how many plays were actually left out there. Fuck it, tuck and run Mitch, triple option Mitch, Tommy Frazier Mitch, whatever you want to do. That's what you need to do.
Eric Crouch,
Mitch, Seneca Wallace Mitch, whatever it is, man. Seneca, shout out Seneca
Antoine Randall L. Mitch.
Antoine Randall L. Mitch.
Who else can we be?
Oh, Shoelaces Mitch.
Denard Robinson Mitch.
We got who else, man? Who's some of my favorite running quarterbacks? I don't even know. Anybody who played at Nebraska, yeah. any of those guys, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the thing about Mitch too is it's like he's probably the most flexible guy we got. He let him out there, let him go do whatever, and at the end of the year, do whatever you want.
That's what I'm saying, man.
They already said
Mike Shanahan and be like, let me get that playbook from 2015.
Yeah, RG3.
Yeah, the one that cost him his entire career. Yeah, let me get that.
Yeah. Probably one of the most underrated storylines. Mike, dude,
that was criminal. He should have been charged. He should have got a felony for that game.
Shanahan never caught any flack for a lot of things, because he got the 2 chips in Denver, and he kind of he did a lot of bullshit and got a lot of coaching jobs he shouldn't have done, and he definitely destroyed RG3's whole career.
Dude, look at that game. He was running naked bootlegs with RG3 when he clearly had a fucking torn ACL. He was running on one leg and send him naked.
Yeah.
Like, that was criminal. He should have got a felony. He should have class 3.
The karma is that his son is choked away 2 Super Bowls. So
true.
Yeah.
True.
That's true. That's
ghost
true.
of RG3.
The ghost of RG3. All right, boys. We'll leave it there. Bears at Lambeau, where we never win, coming off of a long rest after Thanksgiving break, Sunday Night Football. That should be interesting. So 5-5, 4 straight losses. We'll see where we end it. For Eli Caberon, Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. It's still Bear Down, though.